Hello, everyone. This is Auto Asphyxiation. This is Lark.
And Kimberly,
That's right. And this is the week before the election in New Jersey and New York and lots of
Virginia,
places. Pardon me?
Virginia.
Virginia, yeah, a whole bunch of places. And this is going to be kind of like the precursor to the midterms. And really, I can't even understand why anybody would vote for anyone but Mikey in New Jersey. And I'm happy that we're now saying her name right. Like, I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. It's
I say
okay.
every single person's name wrong here. I'm really sorry about that. Anyway, but she has a platform for literally everything: education, justice, early childhood, women's rights, reproduction rights, the environment. Jack, I mean, I'm confused. I'm confused. People are like, well, what should we do? What do you mean, what should we do? What the hell? What the hell? I'm confused.
It's not even, it's so silly to me that people are like, well, I can't really decide. How? Jack has literally no campaign. He has nothing going for him. He hangs out with fascists. If that doesn't scare you off, you need to start looking at yourself in the mirror and start questioning yourself and what you believe. Because if that doesn't scare you off, I believe it was one of his, what do they call them now? Substitutes, uh, I don't know, a
Surrogate,
delegate,
delegate,
whatever, something like
surrogate.
that. Surrogate. Yeah, no, I
No,
think
no.
that's what
I
they
think
call
it's
them.
delegate.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think it, but he said something, we don't take money from Jews, like, and yeah, and seriously, like, ask yourself, what are you doing if you're confused about who it is that you should vote for in
And,
this election?
and I think we should also have to talk about the, blatant, explicit, almost violent sexism that's going on in New Jersey, that's going on across the world. Like, it's not going across the world because Ireland has a left Connolly president. So even in Japan, she's not left, but
Ugh.
they have a woman president. I don't,
People,
I'm not even.
they're like, why feminists? Why aren't you celebrating?
No, I'm not celebrating that one.
We have
But
reasons.
but yes, Connolly, yay. But the thing is, this is that New Jersey is like it's very like it is in this. Okay, of course we have had a woman governor before, but the thing is that not in this climate, not in this climate. And we are in a kind of swing back, swing against women situation. And I'm sorry, I always find it really interesting how hard certain elements of the left fight when it's a woman. I'm confused. If Phil Murphy was not, was fine, how is Sherrill like, oh, absolutely not. How is a Goldman Sachs executive not enough to get your juices flowing and getting angry, but Mickey Sherrill, oh, she's just not perfect. I don't know if I could do it. Like, what's going on here? What's for really going on here?
I have a lot of questions about that myself. I have a lot of questions about that because it is really, I know I use the word disingenuous a lot. It's a really good word. It's very disingenuous to me that a lot of these people are so fixated on the question of Israel and not supporting people who haven't like explicitly said the word genocide or explicitly said these things, explicitly said those things. They haven't passed these leftist purity tests that they want them to pass. Meanwhile, we already see what is happening across the country in places like Los Angeles, Chicago, Memphis, Tennessee, New York City, they tried. Do you want that for New Jersey leftists in New Jersey? Do you?
I feel like a lot of these people are accelerationists, and I feel for people who kind of really think this is about purity. this is not about purity. This is about the fact that they want to be against anything that might give people relief because they have this weird Lord of the Rings fantasy that in order for the revolution to come, and I mean, I really do feel like it's that way. In order for the revolution to come, we can't have any relief. We can't have any relief at all. We have to suffer as much as possible. But you know what? The thing I found interesting, it's not we have to suffer because it seems like all the time we talk about reformism and that's oh you know guaranteed income. That's reformism. SNAP, because we got to talk about this. Some people on the left are happy the SNAP is gone. I mean, on the
What?
right, of course they are, but some people on the left are also happy the SNAP is gone.
What?
They could do mutual aid because we don't need the government.
Okay.
So, which I think is just, and it's not everyone. It's a very small take, but it's a take. It's a take, and I always find it interesting that the reformism always seems to stop at white men's jobs. And that's the thing I think is just wow. Like I'm like, well, isn't a paycheck kind of like reformism? Because aren't you getting paid by capitalism? Aren't you? I mean, if we're gonna go down this road, if we're gonna go down the yellow brick road of reformism, why do we always stop eating on down the road as soon as white men lose their job? Because it seems like, oh, unions will build for whoever. They'll ship for whoever. They'll unload the dock for whoever. There seems to be no one standing up or going, "Hey, you go." What about the questions to unions? And here's the thing. I understand. I'm a pragmatist, but what I want to know are the people who are just like, "I can't vote for Mickey. We could just all die. I'd rather die than vote for Mickey." Why don't
My
you have that same energy for these trade unions?
I I totally agree with you. And I think it's, the unions lost their heart and soul in the 80s when Reagan really gutted them. And enabled a lot of people because unions overwhelmingly voted for Reagan. So and he gutted them, and it enabled a lot of people to be more right wing involved in unions, and they don't know where their benefits came from. They don't know where their rights come from because we have no education in this country that teaches us where our workers' rights came from. It came from the blood and sweat of people who formed unions, men, women, and children who lived, worked, got tortured practically, and died to make sure that there are a semblance of some kind of rights in the United States. And those rights aren't even all that great, even when we have had everything intact. And I think that I think in a lot of ways we need to start looking at moving beyond unions, and we need to start looking at forming cooperatives to deal with all of this.
Yeah, I mean, we do. And I think the thing that's interesting is that, in the 70s and in the 60s, apparently they had courses called labor. Like you could major in labor. That was an actual class. And that those classes need to start existing again. We need to put them in the community colleges. We need to start putting labor, start there and then go to the public colleges and actually have a major called labor so that we can people can learn how to organize and create cooperatives and do these kinds of things. And to the point that you were bringing up the fact that labor abandoned the Democratic Party in the 80s, and essentially pushed us headfirst into neoliberalism. Not saying they're the only thing or the sole thing, but this kind of like revisionist working class history where we don't admit that working class white men overwhelmingly voted for Reagan, who did so much harm in dismantling our healthcare, defunding our schools, defunding our colleges, closing our facilities for people who have mental health issues, for people who are homeless. He did so much damage, and we don't really talk about the fact that that was able to happen because white men in unions were part of that. And then when he threw them out the door, like get out, they were like, "What? Now why is the Democratic Party listening to you know what?
I
They've been trying to yeah, go ahead.
But we're seeing the same exact thing now. We're seeing the same exact thing now. There are farmers in across the Midwest and the South that are like, but I love you so much, Trump. They're crying in their trucks. Their soybeans aren't being sold. Their crops are rotting in their fields because all of their workers have been picked up by ICE in the fields while they were picking the crops. And it's this is unfortunately the lessons that you have to learn. Unfortunately, the lessons that they learn are going to cause a ripple effect that everyone is going to have to learn because food prices are going to go up. Food prices are going to go up, and people aren't going to be able to afford them. SNAP isn't here anymore, so that's going to have to be something that things are going to need, people are going to starve unless the gap is filled. And while white men are continuing their finance jobs, their data jobs, their whatever jobs, women are being put out of work left and right all over the place. But that's where women are going to come in because we're going to be the ones that form the cooperatives.
Well, that's a very hopeful message, Kimberly. And I don't mean that in a sarcastic way. I mean that in a real way because it's true. We are being pushed out of the workforce, by in large numbers. And the thing that's really frustrating to me is that every single time this kind of thing happens, the left, the populist flavored left, and a certain kind of left are like, yeah, what we need is we need a real authentic guy. Like so now, I think about Fetterman in Pennsylvania. He is real. He's keeping it real. He was
He
sketched.
wears a hoodie.
Yeah, yeah. He was sketched to me from day one, but everybody was just like, well, see, this is the kind of person we need in the Democratic Party. Now we got this asshole grand planner who Jacobin's like, oh, he's fine. We want these perfect candidates. And I'm like in my own head, like, it's so weird to me that a lot of these, essentially men men-led movements on the left, everybody has to be perfect except if it's a white dude. I mean, everybody else is like, you gotta be perfect. They got all kind of nasty things even to say about AOC. All kinds of nasty, mean, disgusting things. You go to Reddit.
Oh no,
But
she got a $200 haircut. God forbid. They obviously have no idea how much it costs for a woman to get their haircut.
exactly. But this grand planner guy, he just pops out the trash can and he just does whatever he wants. He says all kind of sexist, racist things. Oh well, this is the kind of thing we need. So we need a Trump, but on the left. No, actually I don't think we need that because I think did they not learn with Fetterman? Did they not learn? I don't think they did. I don't think they're ever going to learn.
I think that Fetterman should have stepped down after his brain injury, because I think that Fetterman's actions now are a direct result of his brain injury. This other guy, though, I don't buy his bullshit about the Nazi tattoo. There is no way. How old is he? Like,
I
I
think like
don't.
40, 35, 40. I don't know.
Okay.
He's an older, I think he's an older millennial.
Okay, so he's old enough. He's old enough. He saw what that was in history class in high school. He saw what that was in history class in high school. He knows exactly what that was, and so did him and his fucking Marine buddies, excuse my language, when they went and got that tattooed. And I will tell you that I know that for a fact because my best friend owns a tattoo shop on 29 Palms Highway, which is right by the 29 Palms Marine Base. And a lot of Marines get sketchy ass tattoos, not at her shop, but other shops. So I know that they knew exactly what that meant. There's no way that you went through high school and did not figure out what that meant.
Yeah, 41 years old. Okay. So it was pretty well known what various things be. And plus too, it's just the things that he says. He knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's playing to. But of course, Jacobin is fine with it. And this is a problem I have with the left. They have all these excuses for racism, for sexism, but no one, the purity is in this on very specific topics, not on solidarity, not on working class solidarity, because to them, working class solidarity is white man or white passing man, and they act like that's, you know what I mean?
Working class solidarity is a working class white man making sure that he is number one and he makes sure that is protecting himself no matter what happens to the people around him.
Yeah, and this to me, this double standard is just, it's just too much. It's too much. And it's just like it goes to me, it goes back to Mickey Sherrill and them and everyone kind of playing this game like, oh, she didn't do this and she didn't do that. And it's like, okay, what's our option? Jack Ciaretti is our option. And I don't feel that that is essentially accelerating us into a brick wall. And I don't understand, like, you know, what is this? I don't know. You know what? I know what it is. I just feel that we don't talk about it that much. I feel like we don't talk about sexism that much on the left. We do talk, and we barely talk about racism, but we talk about it in this really weird way. We're like, what we should do is have a separate thing for Black people. I mean, every time it seems like to me, every time on the left, when we're trying to have a solidarity conversation, rather than us have the conversation, we go, well, let's start a committee where just women can talk about it by themselves. Let's start a committee where people of color. No, no, we don't. We're not doing it anymore. We should all be in the same room having the same conversation, the same uncomfortable conversations. This whole segregating everybody into little different groups. Clearly, that also didn't work.
It doesn't work. No, your ideas of radical integrationism are the only thing that people have to get uncomfortable. People have to get uncomfortable with one another. White people have to get uncomfortable hearing things. Even the most woke of white people have prejudices and biases that they don't realize that they conduct throughout their day that they need to be confronted with and addressed. Everybody has to sit down at the table and have this conversation, and it has to get very uncomfortable.
And we have to have, we have to kind of focus on pro-social activities and pro-social methods, because we see now the SNAP conversation. I mean, again, with this is another bizarre conversation where we're just like, well, SNAP doesn't cost as much as the billionaire subsidies. Like, do you understand what is actually going on? It's really like they don't care. They want to starve people because they feel like they aren't actually people. And this is, if we keep arguing about things that are not being argued about, if we don't focus on the actual issue that is the actual issue, we're going to continue to fail. We're having this conversation like this is about, oh, well, Snap doesn't actually cost that much. Oh, most people on Snap are actually white. Guess what? This is not really the actual conversation. I mean, I'm really kind of confused. It doesn't matter. They feel, or people who are, I guess, handmaids to power feel it's totally worth it that some white people die if it means harming other people, if it means harming, the women who are unpartnered and have children. They should be punished. You should be working. You should be, cleaning my house. You should be like sucking my dick. I mean, that is like literally that's what they think. I mean, I feel like that is, you know, how dare you, want to have dignity? How dare you want to have a job? Like, if this is what is going on, I don't think we really kind of have this really deep conversation that needs to happen, because it does need to happen.
It does need to happen. And, I will, as I said, I was talking about before with the cooperatives, that's a good way to move beyond unions. It can be very femme-centric, work, women, non-binary, trans people. These are all the people that are being put out of work right now. If they want to put us out of work, that's fine. We will make our own work and we will take care of each other. The cooperatives can include childcare and peds clinics kind of put together with like childcare workers and, nurses and things like that. Unfortunately, in some cases, like we're gonna have to rely on advice rather than actual like medically prescribing things and so on and so forth. But public health nurses can be a fantastic resource. We can have co-op stores and farm stands because a lot of the women that are being put out of work right now are starting their own gardens because they know that the lean times are coming. We can also have cooperatives for repairs because we ain't gotta buy shit. We can learn how to fix it our own selves.
And this to me, I feel like this is a better way of using the whole mutual aid term, like mutual aid, because I really feel like this, how we're using mutual aid now, it can't just be people who got to keep their jobs handing out food. That's people need that, but that's not what mutual aid is.
That's what
Mutual aid
charity
has to have
is.
people who have that's what charity is. And the thing is that not saying that charity is bad, but what you're doing, if you have, political power over another group of people and you're handing them food, this is no longer mutual aid because it's like, do you understand what mutual means? Do you understand what mutual? That means we're both exchanging. It means equal. But yeah, it means
Yes.
equal. It doesn't mean just one person who has power over another person. And I think that, the answer, and this is a conversation that, after the midterms, and just right now, we should start having it. Yeah, cooperative, because to me, unions have failed. They have failed. Their project has failed. It has not included everyone. It's excluded women. It's excluded trans people. It's excluded service workers. It's excluded undocumented people. It's become like it's kind of an elitist organization for men, specifically white men. And the thing is that I don't have a problem with the concept of unions, but unions in the United States have never included everybody. And you will always have like this hierarchy within the union so that people who are not white men are always at the bottom. Even when I was a teacher, I had all of like a K-12 teacher. I had all of the worst jobs. Like literally, it was ridiculous. I had all the worst jobs, and essentially all the black teachers had the worst jobs with the hardest classrooms, with the largest classrooms. We were just essentially the trash. So it's kind of like, oh, if you didn't want if a kid was if you didn't want a kid in your class, you just put him in my class. And not that I didn't want those kids in my class, but I didn't have nearly the protection. Um, I didn't have the protection. And so my whole point is this, not to like have personal anecdotal stories about my woe is life in my K-12 land, that I don't do that anymore. But the fact is unions in the United States have failed, kind of like the two-party system has failed. But I think that it's interesting that while we focus a lot on, while we can't have this two-party system and let's have ranked choice voting, we haven't figured out, oh, let's do labor differently. And I think this is a really good point for you to say, like, we need to do labor a lot differently than we've been doing it. And I feel that, the AFL, SEIU, all of them, I feel like those are failed projects. Like people say the Democratic Party is a failed project. I think the AFL and SEIU, that might be controversial, are failed projects because they have not brought people in to the union and they haven't they've made a lot of missteps, a lot of missteps. I'll just say that.
Well, I've mentioned before that I've been part of unions in my work as an LPN, and the unions that cover LPNs are not nurse-centric unions. They're generally unions that cover grocery stores and things like that. And, there's always sketchy things going on because a lot of people in those jobs, they don't know their rights. They don't know, they don't generally have, like for a very long time, one of the nursing homes that I worked at, the shop steward was in a management role. That's illegal. That's absolutely illegal. Like, you can't have that, And then when the union came in and I started talking about these things, I became a problem. I was like, no, but these are my rights, and I am exercising my rights as a worker. I'm not a problem for pointing out the illegal things that you guys are doing, including the no strike clause in the contract that none of the union members signed, but administration did because it was mid-COVID.
That's the thing too. We have right now, we're in a situation where, another pandemic can happen in any moment. And if Sherelle does not, if Mikey
Mikey.
Sherelle does not, yeah, I always do it. Mikey Sherelle does not win. What are we going to do in regards to like our health? They're going to pull us out of the health pack that is going to, that is going to offer us the ability to get vaccinated.
Please,
Um,
I love our new country. I pledge allegiance every day to the Northeast Public Health Coalition.
Exactly. I mean, even think about the, health insurance. I mean, we're going to be losing, okay, number one, SNAP's going away. Then we have people who are losing their health insurance. So it's like, that ACA is going away. Some people's insurance is going up from $66 a month to $1,000 a month. So there are going to be people, I mean, and my car insurance went up literally to $2,000 a month. I mean, $2,000 a year. It was, I know, it was 1,300. It was $1,300 a year, and now it's 2,000. Now that, these little things add up. And I mean, I'm not really sure how people who are not middle class are making it if this is, me as a middle class person is finding it harder and harder to like, oh, this is expensive. This food's expensive. My diet plan is poverty. Not really poverty, but just like this is expensive. I have to like, I mean, it's weird. It's weird to me.
Um, well, I've always been a poverty babe, so like I know how to make things stretch. I was talking about that with one of our mutual friends online today, like buying a chicken, you roast it, that feeds you for 4 days, then you make a soup out of it. And then when the soup gets low, you got to make a chicken pot pie out of it. And that'll feed you for a couple more days. You get like 2 weeks worth of food out of one chicken.
Well, we're gonna have to have a show on that on how to survive when you run out of money. Because this is like I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm just gonna have to die. No, I'm not gonna die. I'm just like anyway. With that, we're gonna wrap it up. Please go out and vote. If early voting is starting. You know what? Why am I acting like it's like tomorrow? Early voting. We're talking about early voting. So early voting is starting today. Early voting is starting in New York today. Early voting probably anywhere that the elections are on, like, in 2 weeks are probably starting today. So check and see if you can like, do your early voting so you won't be on Tuesday. You don't have to mail it in because we don't even know what's going on with that.
Yeah,
You
I
don't have to
wouldn't.
mail it in, and you don't have to stand in the long lines that's going to happen on Tuesday because this is really a test run for the midterms. So we hope that the No Kings March invigorated everybody and got you guys all jazzed about going out there and doing your civic duty.
Thank you for listening, and please definitely vote like your life depends on it. This election is so much more important even than like last year's general election. Us being part of the Northeast Public Health Coalition defends not only public health things like vaccinations and what can and will happen during the next pandemic, but it also protects things like people's jobs and SNAP benefits. Like there's plans in place for them to like have backup for that. And because food and eating healthy, nutritious food, especially for our children, that is a public health initiative. So please vote like your life depends on it. Please vote like your children's life depends on it. And even if you don't have children, vote like somebody else's children's life depends on it because it does.
And with that, thank you.